this is a presentation that I put together today. And I'm going to do a little presentation, and then I'm going to show you how I built this presentation. So this presentation is how to do online presentations and tools for engagement. So in my tools for engagement, you're building a presentation. So what kind of presentation will it be? And how comfortable are you using the tools? So like in my mom's case, when she's not comfortable using the tools, just talking from the heart and holding up her socks was fine, right? That's great. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm also wanting to make sure I'm looking into the camera on my screen, because we have a tendency to read the screen and look down like this. And you see where my eyes are when I do that? But if I look like this into the screen, how does that make you feel? Somebody tell me, how do you feel when I'm looking like this and smiling?
Like you're looking at me.
Right, I'm looking at you, right? But if I'm looking down and I'm reading all the time, it's the equivalent of standing at a podium and staring at my notes, right? So there's other things that you can do as well. Like, well, here's a good one. What if I can't spell Armageddon? Well, you know what? It's not the end of the world. Okay, that was a bad joke. Hardly anyone's laughing. Well, I can see your faces. Actually, some of you are laughing. So what am I doing here? I'm telling a joke, okay? Maybe a poor one. But the idea is that you can use some jokes and use some humor in your presentation as well as your talking. These are just basic speaking things that you would use anywhere if you were talking in front of a group to engage the group, right? So another thing that you want to do, now I'm building a presentation, I want to choose tools that I can use, choose colors that I can use. I want to spend time thinking about and planning what I'm going to say. So it's my turn to present next week, and I'm thinking about this. How will I put this together? So I'm going to show you a few cool things. Here's some possible tools for you, and I'm actually going to show you how these work at the end of my presentation. These are just a few simple ones that we use a lot that I think that you probably will find quite handy. One of them is PowerPoint, which you can see right here. There's fancier tools than this that you can use, but this is a very nice, easy one that most people could actually handle. Okay. Pixabay for free pictures, and Picmonkey to change your pictures. So I'm going to share with you how these things work as we go through today. So here's a nice template that came right with the PowerPoint presentation, and I just filled in pictures. See that? So in presentation online, you have to understand that you've got audio, visual, and interaction, which is really great because this is exactly how people think and learn. People think audibly, and they learn audibly or visually or in a tactile way. Most of us have one of those is more predominant than the others. But how do we use this when we're doing online presentations? Well, obviously the pictures. Any picture or video is going to cause people to look at it. I would caution against using video when you're brand new at this, okay? There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong with video. We have a lot of great video that we have on our CIBN TV channel on YouTube that's free for the public, and sometimes I refer to that and share the links while I'm doing presentations, but I have learned to not actually click the button and watch the video. And the reason is too much can go wrong. You start to actually watch it and all of a sudden it's not streaming right, the sound is wrong, and it's just difficult to go in and fix it right now. And although I'm pretty adept at moving around inside of a system, it's still distracting even for me. So I wouldn't recommend that unless you're really techno savvy, okay?
It's really good to know.
Yeah, so keeping your presentation screen just really straight and steady like this is the way to do it, because then not too much can go wrong, right? You have your audio, make sure your sound is good. One of the things you do when you're doing a presentation, just come in early and make sure that your presentation is good. And just like when you're presenting in front of a live group of people, you got to be ready to roll with the punches. Sometimes you come in, you got this great presentation, and what happens if for some reason my PC is not linking to Zoom and I can't get my presentation screen up? Well, if I know my content really good, I'm just going to actually go to my phone, use my phone, but I might have to give up my fancy presentation. So again, just roll with it. Be ready to talk from the heart if that's the case, okay? And in that case, I've actually had that happen. And what I did was I put my presentation screen up on my computer so I could see it. Nobody else could, but at least I was able to follow my notes and keep on track and keep everything running smoothly. And the people that I was presenting to now on my phone didn't even really realize that there was a big mix-up and it wasn't working. So this is the way you can do this. And interaction is one of those things, asking questions, pointing to somebody in the audience and actually asking them specifically, about what you're talking about. So you can say, well, Phyllis, I can see that you're paying attention and you really know what's going on here. And I can tell from the smile on her face, she's been singled out, right? This is a good way of keeping your audience engaged when you're doing online presentations. Just like when you're doing live presentations, you don't want people falling asleep. You don't want them to lose them. So let's talk about timing. We usually do 15 minutes in a live presentation. As we've been watching this throughout the last week, I'm thinking timing for your live presentation before questions is actually best between 7 to 12 minutes, depending how easy you're finding this and how people are interacting with you, okay? Now, I'm making this suggestion. We can stick to the 20 if you must, but we've been finding that if you are not a dynamic speaker and haven't had a lot of practice, it's a little bit scary and intimidating. And also, the audience sometimes gets lost, okay? So keeping it short, keeping it sweet. We had a great presentation this morning by Evelyn Gwynn at Summit Consulting, and she said she was going to be 20 minutes, and she was actually done in 12, and it was great. The interaction was really good, and she did share her presentation screen like this. And this is a simple path to actually how to do that. I've got here, you have an introduction, you have a body of your content of what you're talking about, and then your ask. What is your ask? What are you actually asking people to do for you? And just like when you're doing a presentation face-to-face or like in a group where people are right there, make your ask simple, okay? If you say, well, I'd like a Google review, and I'd like you to buy my product and click this link, and I'd like you to give me a referral, the chances are very high you're going to get 0 for that effort, okay? And it's just because you're asking for too many things at once, and people you just lost them after the first thing. So just have one ask, all right? Today in my introduction, I talked about what was going on in the situation, and this is what I'm going to do, and I kind of set it up. Now this is the body I'm following through, and at the end I'll have one very clear ask, and that is that you share online networking with other people. That's all. Nice and simple. Going to keep it easy for everyone, right? And you want to watch your timer, making sure that you are on track. More is not better. I've seen that a couple times lately. Actually, it wasn't by someone in our group. I was online doing something, and somebody just seemed very compelled to tell us more and more and more. And the first 20 minutes was too much, okay? It was boring, it was dull, there was no screen share, and he wasn't looking into the camera. And frankly, I was fighting to stay awake. I think a couple times I put my screen on, covered my face. I couldn't see me. I went for coffee, I came back. I could have had half a dozen phone calls. More is not better. So just stick to the plan and get right through it. Now, when you're presenting, show your product, share your screen. These are some of the things I said. Speak directly, ask questions, use humor, start with a joke, or use a funny screen. You could actually have something like, the cat stuck in the toilet or something. That's your first picture. To get people's attention with something that is a little bit comic. use your graphs sparingly and limit techno talk. So some of you are in industries where there is a lot of technical jargon or a lot of facts and figures. Having one screen that covers a chart is great, but don't make your whole presentation one chart after another, okay? You might really like that, but you're by yourself, okay? Most people, they get lost in all of that jargon. So keep it very simple. And also have a nice, clear thank you at the end of your presentation. And this is what my end of my presentation would look like. But I'm actually going to give you one more screen here, because now I'm going to show you how I made that very, very quickly here. So as you realize, I have been using the PowerPoint presentation, and now I'm going to click escape there. I used F5 when I brought that up on my PC, and I'm not sure what the button is on an Apple product, but there is one. I know it for sure. And I've seen presentations this week where people shared their screen and it looked like this. And that's kind of crappy, okay? Because nobody wants to see all the extra stuff around the outside of your screen, right? Simply by pushing F5 at the top, it actually changed it to my presentation. See that? Isn't that awesome? Looks great. That, not so great, okay? So if you're gonna share a presentation, try to figure out where your buttons are before you get started. Also be aware with PowerPoint, there is a button in there that will turn it into a slideshow, and you will not be able to control how fast the pictures are moving. So play with your presentation before you give your presentation so that you can find all those nice buttons and figure out how to turn them on and off, okay? That will make your life so much easier. Give yourself a little practice before you get going. And there you go. Another thing is you can use Zoom to practice with one person before you give your presentation. So just like you would practice with a friend or do your presentation into a mirror, you could actually practice with a friend and share your presentation on Zoom before you have to give it to a group. Isn't that cool? Now, I'm going to show you how I made these nice pages. All right, I'm going to use this blank page here that was a template page, and I'm going to show you these lovely tools that we just had a minute ago. So I have to move you guys over here so I can do this. So let's say I wanted to type text in here. That's easy enough. I could say point number 1 is say something amusing. All right. See, nice and easy, very, very quick. I want to add a picture here. I click on the icon and it says, well, let's do a funny cat picture here. There we go. And I just added him in there. That was nice and easy, right? Let's say I'm thinking, I don't like that cat picture. He's just not cool enough for me. I want something better than that. So now I have to go find something better than that. And I'm going to give you now some tools that you can use. So one of the free tools that I like to use a lot is something called Pixabay. See all these lovely tools here? This is Pixabay. It's a free site where you can get all kinds of pictures. And you can just go to the top and you can search. I searched funny cat. See all these funny cats? Right? Now let's say I want to use one of these pictures. I think I like this one here. I just like him. Up he comes. I'm going to do a free download. I can pick the size of a photo that I want. Large photos are great in size for getting specific details. But when I'm actually moving stuff around inside of a PowerPoint like this, I don't need it to be that large. I would actually pick this smaller picture or this one maximum in order to use it in a PowerPoint, okay? It's just, sometimes if you download these great big pictures and high pixels and great definition, it looks good, except that some systems will reject it when you go to download it. And all of a sudden you can't actually use that photo and you end up having to redo it somehow, okay? And many of you don't know how to redo things like that, so keep it simple by keeping your photos smaller, okay? Pick one of these ones. I'm gonna pick this 1280 by 692, one of the lower ones. I'm gonna download I'm using free program here, so I just download this straight into my computer. I've got it set up already so that this is going to go into my downloads button here. See, there he is. There's my cat. Now, I want to change that picture. I think, well, it's a great picture of a cat, but I actually don't like how it's horizontal like this. And I want to change it, or maybe I want to add something to it. So now I go into picmonkey.com, and again, Picmonkey has a free version, or it has a paid version, which is very cheap. I think it's like, I don't know, $7 or $12 a month. I do a lot of changing of photos, and this is a nice, simple, easy place to change photos. So I'm going to go here and say I'm going to open a new picture. I'm going to go to my computer. I'm going to take my new cat that's right here, and I'm going to download him in there. Isn't he look lovely? And now I have choices of what am I going to do with this cat. Well, you might have noticed if you're watching us on YouTube the other day, when we did pictures of, I had the one up there for Janice, so we just did a great video Janice just did as she's leaving the network. You might notice that we put hearts all around Janice, and this is how we did it. And we can tilt the hearts like this. You see? Ah, we love the kitty. See? I can add things to my picture if I want to, just like that. And I can add whatever I like. I can put a frame around my picture inside the Pixabay. I can do seasonal cool things, or I can make it talk like a like he's in the comic books. Pow on the cat, right? I can do anything that I want to do back here. I can add all kinds of stuff. Or I can just say, well, really, I just wanted this picture to be a different shape. I don't like the horizontal view, so I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to crop it. And I'm going to turn this picture of this kitty, I'm going to cut off his whiskers, because cats really like that. And I'm going to make it into a vertical shot that's all up in your face and looks really crazy skinny like this. I'm going to apply that like that. And now look at my kitty. See what I just did? And I want to save him, so I go to export. And it says, what is he? I'm going to call him Skinny Kitty. Okay. And export it to my computer just like that. Save. Now that will now be in my download, and I'll come back to my presentation here and say, well, I didn't like this kitty. I want to actually change this picture to Skinny Kitty from my file. There he is. And I'm going to put him in there. Ta-da! There's my Skinny Kitty, just like that. Do you see how easy this program is? It's actually kind of fun. It's kind of creative. I would just simply save my Skinny Kitty, make my points that I want to make, and now I have a PowerPoint presentation. Page by page, I can build it out. If I'm building graphs, these types of things have, if you pick up a formulated template like this, you can actually pick a new slide. See my choices? Things already built in, they're beautiful. And I just put this all together and it's lovely. And now I have my presentation. And I just save my presentation up here. Save as, done, save, and there it is. Okay? All right, questions? Are you all mesmerized by my Skinny Kitty? Who has questions? You guys are not asking enough questions. You need a close-up of the Skinny Kitty.
Well, on the note of asking questions, I learned something new and fun with Zoom while you were doing your presentation there when you mentioned doing next to the stop video button, the video settings button. If you click on the video settings button, you can go to, what was it here? Keyboard shortcuts, second to last option. And you can enable a little bit of a ways down here, mute, unmute. I think it's like option number 8 or 9 here for Alt 4. And then you can just press, or Alt A, sorry, it's Alt A. Then you can just mute and unmute yourself using the keyboard. It's a lot faster than going for that mute, unmute button on the screen.
Lovely.
If you're a fan of using things like Control C, Control V, I'm a huge fan of that, and really liked that one when I saw it there.
Awesome. And now that you mention that, Zachary, there's something else that's kind of cool here on that screen share here again. When I go up to the top, inside of this platform, where it says more, I'm just thinking here, there's other cool things. Oh, here, annotate. See this? I can actually, on the screen, look at that. I can circle Kitty's eye. You see that? And I have drawing tools. Huh? So there's actually, I can write text over top of it. See? So there's actually tools right inside of Zoom that you actually can use as you're sharing your screen, which is kind of cool. There's spotlight, stamping, there's things that you can play with back there that will help you.